Hi class. For this lecture video, I wanted to talk a little bit about content management systems for your website. So this would involve purchasing hosting and a domain name, and then you can use one of these content management systems to actually build your site instead of coding it through Dreamweaver. So it makes it a little bit more user-friendly and drag and drop sort of way of building a website instead of having to know code. It's still beneficial if you know how to code and you've already learned how to do that in this class, so you can actually apply what you've learned in this class to one of these type of content management system editors, and it's going to help you customize different things on your website. If you there's a couple different ones that are popular. So one of them would be WordPress, and I use WordPress a lot when I'm building sites for clients who want to be able to go in and edit things on their site themselves, because it makes it a lot easier and more user-friendly for them than like having to modify HTML code all the time and stuff. So if I have a client that wants to be able to do that, I'll usually set them up with WordPress. Another option is Google Sites, and so I'll kind of go over how you do that as well. Some people like to use Wix.com, and really there's a lot of different ones out there, but probably WordPress gives you the most flexibility as far as templates and designs and customizing things. So I'm going to start with WordPress, and I'll show you how I have one of the sites set up for my client. So this is their website, and it's a physical therapy company. So I built this using WordPress, and typically something like this would take a lot of time to code, just with all of the different sections of it and the layout and stuff like that. So WordPress is going to save you a lot of time with building layouts, and that way you can focus more on what kind of content you want to put into it, like images and different pages and stuff like that. So I'll show you what the website looks like. So we have their logo over here. We have the navigation. This takes you to the staff page. And then you have different pages for the services. And then you have the contact page, which allows people to send an email. And it also has their locations and hours, okay? So it's a pretty basic website, and I set it up using WordPress. So what they did was they bought the domain name. I think it was through GoDaddy.com, and then we chose to purchase WordPress hosting so that it's set up to actually work with WordPress. And then WordPress is installed on the server hosting space, and then from there I can actually go in to the WordPress dashboard, and it takes me so to get there I go to the domain name /WP admin, and that's how you access any WordPress site, as long as you have the login details. So I've already logged in, and this is what the back end of it looks like. So when I first log in, it takes me to the dashboard for this website only, and it says that it's a managed WordPress site. And then if you look over on the right hand side of the screen, you have all your different settings, pages, forms, appearance, plugins, and all that. So I'm going to show you my pages first. So this is where you would go and set up all the pages of your site. You can tell it if you want a certain page to be a sub page of another. And for example, this is the contact page is one of my main pages. So if I click on that, it takes me to the contact page. This is what we call short code. So it's code that tells WordPress where to get the form. So the form is actually a plugin that I've installed on WordPress, and I created the form through that plugin, and then this short code is how I make it show up on my page. Okay, so this WordPress theme is set up in the block format, so I can actually add custom HTML code if I want to, and then after I make the changes that I want, I would just click update and it would update that page. So you have the ability to update each page separately. If I go to one of my sub pages that was in the drop down menu, that is a sub page of services, which is specified in the navigation for this site. So you can't tell that it is here, but the main page, the home page, always says front page next to it. So this is our main home page here. And it has some different plugins on it as well that make all those different little images pop up. So I'll show you where I created or where I found the theme. Okay, so when you create your WordPress site, you want to create pages and then you want to choose a theme. Themes are created by other WordPress users. You can purchase themes if you want, or you can customize the default theme. The theme that I have active right now is called Stained Glass, and if I click on it, you can see who made it here. So WordPress is what we call open source, which means that anybody can contribute to it and anybody can use it. So a lot of different people make themes for it and plugins for it, and it's all free to use. Some themes you do have to pay for, but some of them you don't. So this one is a good theme because it's pretty customizable. You can choose between 1 and 4 columns. You have different layouts you can choose: left sidebar, right sidebar, full width, 2 sidebars, and then there's a customizable one. So you just search through the WordPress themes until you find one that's gonna work for you. And if you want to look at the at all the themes, you can go to Add New, and these are recommended. You can look at featured, popular. So there's a lot of them. Most of them are already responsive design, but you do want to check that when you are previewing them to make sure that it says on there somewhere that it's a responsive design, and that way you already have a mobile site design kind of built into it. So you can go through and just look at all all of these, and then when you decide which one you want, you click install and activate. Okay, and then after you pick a theme, depending on which theme you pick, your customized settings are going to look different for each theme. So you can actually go in and change themes if you decide you don't like the one that you're working with. It's really easy to change, but this is the customize menu for this theme, stained glass. And all the customized menus look slightly different because they're built by different people. But this one has sidebars, layout, colors, mobile version, fonts, background menu. So you can go into any of these. You can pick a font, a main font. You can pick a font size. So not all of them are this customizable, but this particular one has a lot of good options. You can pick colors. So rather than going and writing the CSS code, this is doing it for you, basically. The header image, I actually created in Photoshop, so this whole upper section right here is one image that I made in Photoshop. So if you have a theme that doesn't utilize all of the features that you want, then you can sort of manipulate it sometimes and create your own headers and different things like that. Menus, this is where I created the drop down menu. So notice how I put all these sub pages and they're indented right here. That means that they're a sub page and it's going to have this little pop down menu. And that's all I had to do for that. I didn't have to code all of this. It already had all the code that it needed to make that. And I just had to tell it which ones were sub pages of that page. Also, so there's widgets and there's plugins with WordPress. So widgets appear on the page. They're all different for every theme that you pick. So this widget is what adds these images right here. So the ones that you can click on. So I can choose how many columns I want, and then I click on image 1 and I put that image, I uploaded that image. I already made it square in Photoshop. And then when they click on it, it's going to take them to the post-surgery and injury care page. And then when I upload image 2, that's going to take them to the pain management page. And image 3 is going to take them to the outpatient physical therapy page. So that's how these ones are set up, is through widgets. Okay, different themes are going to be set up different ways, like I said. So some of them you're just going to have to take time and figure out. This next row has 4 columns, and it's kind of set up the same way, where it has the image and then the link to the page. Okay, and so that's kind of how my home page is built. I have my header, then I have widgets, and then I actually have the home page, which is under pages. Okay. Usually within WordPress there's an additional CSS section that allows you to add your own CSS. So if you know the code and how to use CSS, which you should by now, you can add custom CSS to things. You just have to go into your pages and figure out like what the class name is and all that, because WordPress is going to name those things automatically, and you don't really have a choice in the matter. They just name it whatever they want. So to do that, I would go and right click on your page and go to View Page Source in Google Chrome. And then you can look at the actual code on the page and determine where things are that you might want to change. So like, for example, the navigation menu. Let's say we wanted to change something in that. Okay, this is where all of the navigation menu is right here. So I would go through there, find the class that I want to change something on, and then I would go back to my additional CSS, call that class, and then change whatever attribute that I wanted. Okay, so it takes some research and it takes a while to find things, but you can change things in your code. Okay, so you do all your customized settings. You do all your, this is another section of widgets. Okay. These are all the widgets that you have available with this theme. So they have widgets for social media icons. They have widgets for the navigation menu, forms, videos, text, and you can drag those to the different sections that allow widgets. So this one allows widgets on the top sidebar, the footer sidebar, and the next footer sidebar. Okay, this is another section where you can customize your menu. I told that menu to appear as the main menu. This section takes you to customize again. You can change your header, background, and then there's the theme editor, which allows you to get into the code of the theme. But what you'll find is that a lot of the pages are PHP, and so obviously we didn't learn PHP in this class. We learned HTML, so it's not going to be as easy to go in and just modify the code as you think it might be. So you kind of have to work with, basically you have access to the CSS, and that's pretty much it. So that's what you can change or you can add on to. They do recommend that you don't change your CSS on this note right here, but if you know what you're doing, you can. Or you can go back to that customize menu and go down to additional CSS and just add your own. That might be a bit safer. Because if you mess up something in here, it could mess up something on the whole site. Okay, so plugins are the other thing we need to talk about. In a plugin, there's hundreds and thousands of plugins available to you through WordPress. And they can do everything from helping with your search engine optimization to anti-spam for email marketing. You can have plugins for forms. You can have plugins for pretty much anything extra you would want on your site, like maybe if you wanted to embed a Twitter feed or a Instagram feed, you can do all that with plugins, and you can drop them anywhere on your site. So let's say we wanted to add an Instagram feed to our site. So you go to add new plugin and then search the plugins. Let's just search Instagram. So you kind of have to sort through them. There's, like I said, thousands of them. You want to look for ones that have a lot of installations and a lot of stars, because there's some that are not really good out there. So this says, formerly called Instagram feed, display beautifully clean, customizable, responsive Instagram feeds from multiple Instagram accounts. 1 million installations. That looks pretty good. So let's say we want to try that. So we click on install now. And then once it installs, you can activate it. it's not going to show up anywhere on your site yet because you haven't told it to. So usually once you activate a plugin, you're going to see it over here somewhere in your menu. And it did, it showed up right here, Instagram feed. So I'm going to click on that. And then this is how you configure it. So you would connect it to your Instagram account. You can tell it what photos you want it to show, check for new posts, and then basically it's going to embed in your page wherever you paste this shortcode. So usually with a plugin, you're looking for a shortcode that they give you to put on your page wherever you want that plugin to show up. So it says copy and paste this shortcode directly into the page, post, or widget where you would like to display the feed. So you copy that, paste it, let's say on a widget for the footer, like you want it to display in the footer, and then you would go to that widget and actually paste it there. And then save it, and it should show up on your actual page. So I'm not going to do it right now because they don't want an Instagram feed, but that's how you would do it, okay? So plugins can be used for a lot of things. On this particular site, I am using a plugin for my form page. I'm using this WP Forms, and so I clicked on Forms, and this is where it lets me actually do all the settings, and when the form submits, it's going to email me. And then I created the form right here, simple contact form. And this is what it looks like. So then whenever I want it to appear on my page, I just copy this shortcode right here and put it on my page, which is what I did to make the form page. Okay, so it takes some figuring out when you use different plugins because they're all made by different people. But usually there's some sort of shortcode that you use to paste it onto your page. Alright, so that's a basic overview of building a site through WordPress. The next thing I'm going to show you is a little bit about Google Sites. So if you have a Google account, you can just go to sites.google.com. And it's just as simple as starting a new site. I already opened one here. So it kind of works the same way as WordPress. The site is saved in your Google Drive, so you don't have to worry about losing it. So let's just call this our new site. And we'll call this Dreamweaver. So over here I have different layouts that I can choose. There's themes that I can choose as well, a lot like WordPress, but they're a lot simpler actually. So here's where I go to add pages. So let's add a page called HTML and a page called CSS. So it's building our navigation menu over here. And then I can go in and edit all my pages from the pages menu. It looks like I can do insert text box, insert images, embed videos, different things like that. You can have an image carousel. Let's try that. So it says a carousel must have at least 2 images. Let's see where can we get images. Let's just do that. So this is a really simple little website builder. It probably doesn't have as much customization as WordPress. But if you're looking to just do a real simple website, it could be a good option for you. This is taking a while. Okay. So let's just say insert and see what it does. So it's building an image carousel, and let's just look at it. Let's preview it and see. Okay, so this is where you can like scroll through the images. You can also preview it, what it would look like on a mobile device. Okay. And then if you want to share your new website, you can share it with people. Publish is where you would go to actually publish it to a web address. So if you have a domain that you want to link it to, you can do that. You kind of have to set that up separately, so you'd have to set that up through a hosting company, and then you could publish your Google site to that. So I'm not sure like exactly how customizable this is because I haven't used it very often. I do prefer WordPress, but if you, I think there's a lot of different ways you can choose themes and templates. When you go to the template gallery, there should be more options there, and then you can pick a template that goes with your website. Okay, and then the other one that I mentioned is Wix, which is a website builder. It's a lot like the Google site builder, so you can kind of see a preview of it here. I'm not going to go into that because I don't have an account and stuff, but you can set up a basic website by choosing a template and then dragging and dropping all your content on it. So if you're looking for a really quick way to build a website, some of these might be a good option for you. But you know more than that now because you know HTML and CSS, so you can do a lot more. So that's why I would suggest going with WordPress because it's more customizable than even Google Sites and Wix. But obviously it's up to you as the designer what you want to do for your clients and also thinking about your clients editing the videos or the website themselves. You might want to go with something that's a little more simple so they can understand it. But yeah, so those are called content management systems. They are called what you see is what you get editors. And so you build the site on your screen and then it looks like that. And so it's not taking as much of your time troubleshooting and doing code and building layouts and all that's already done for you. Okay, so this is kind of like the shortcut way to build websites.